Riff. Intro art provided by Jeremiah Gardner.
Yeah.
There you go.
Welcome back to the Riff podcast, everybody. Sorry
Hey.
about last week. We missed an episode. You know, life happens.
It happens. It happens. He's got a baby, and I'm trying to make a baby.
Hell yeah.
I'm glad that worked a second time. On the top of the video, I'd like to ask everybody, please, our loving supporters.
Follow, subscribe. Oh,
yes.
I thought we were going to say it at the same time.
Oh, yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Like, follow, subscribe.
Yeah, close enough. Brain synergy. Yeah.
My brain don't quite work.
My brain don't work too good. My brain ain't working too good today.
What are we talking about today, Bailey?
We're talking about, we're going to give you our favorite movies. We're going to give you a couple of anthology series that we like, not VHS, for the love of God.
Yeah.
I feel like that has been overdone so many times. So
I didn't quite follow the assignment, but I've had a lot going on.
No, actually,
I just wrote down some Stephen King movies.
Yeah, I didn't exactly follow down the assignment.
It's kind of an anthology series because it's all in the same.
Yeah, it's all in the same thing. Which is honestly really cool. I recently watched Misery, which we'll get into whenever you.
Misery ties into all. I don't have it written down here, but Misery and Cujo also tie into all of this, and I don't have
which is insane. How that story about a dog, which arguably is one of the scariest ones.
Yeah. I'll talk about it when we.
But this week we're going to give you some movie recommendations for the Halloween season. It's the reason for the season, so
hell yeah,
we're just gonna do that once again, if you like what you see here, comment, subscribe,
subscribe,
hit that little notification bell so you can see every Wednesday when the Riff Ranch hits you with a podcast.
Yeah, and Saturday specials. We just recently played Alien Isolation. Hopefully that video will be up soon.
Yeah, hopefully y'all enjoy that little bit of something, and we're just kind of testing out a couple little things to see where we're going with stuff. I mean, of course, you guys have heard us talk about our creepypastas, and we've done the Collecticon video and several other things.
We're about to shoot Vita Carnes
right after this. Yeah.
More about season 2.
So we hope you guys like that. And Jesus, what if that was the one that got us shut down? We were shut down for a day.
I think we got shut down before Vita Carnes. Was it before? I think it was.
Maybe. I think so, yeah. Yeah, we got shut down recently. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. We got shut down. I forgot.
Did we get any strikes for that?
Did we get any? I'm not sure.
No?
I don't know how to check.
We only get 3 strikes, 4 or 5.
I think it's like 5.
5 strikes. We're just totally fine.
Yeah. But somebody tried to cancel us already.
Somebody tried to cancel us.
It's crazy.
It wasn't for all the horrible things I've said throughout the early part of the podcast.
It was for scamming and spam and
scam and spam. Yeah. Deceptive practices.
That's it. Deceptive practices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
don't feel like we do that.
As much as I would like your money, I don't think we've really talked about the Patreon too much other than in a
I don't think we tried. I wouldn't say we tried to scam you people.
I wouldn't say we tried to trick you into giving us money for free.
I'm trying to trick YouTube into giving me money for sure.
Yeah, but not you, the American people and the other country people, everybody in other countries. Our 1% of viewers in the UK. Shouts out to you, buddy boy.
Let's go ahead and get into
anyway.
This
Yeah. So you want to take it off the top, or?
I figured we go off your thing. You had a little bit more to talk about, so I figured it'd be good to start with your thing.
So my favorite anthology. We're going to start off with anthologies.
Okay.
I mean, of course, there's so many. I mean, there's. I feel like it's kind of oversaturated now, But of course, like back in the day, you have stuff like, the K-Don. The Japanese K-Don thing that we just popped up on here, and Creep Show, of course, that's a staple.
Yeah, a favorite of mine has always been J.J. Abrams did Cloverfield, and people don't fuck with it. They didn't want it to be an anthology series. That's really what happened with Cloverfield.
That's the American Godzilla. I just watched a video on that. Shouts out to you guys.
Did you not know that?
No, It's but it's the way it broke it down. I was like, oh shit, and it works. It's like the American Godzilla.
Yeah, and people love the first Cloverfield so much that he came out with 10 Cloverfield Lane, and people didn't know this when he was coming out with the second movie,
that it was going to be
he wanted it to be an anthology series. He basically said he's trying to make his own movie verse of Twilight Zone-esque movies.
Yeah.
And when people found out, when people went to go watch 10 Cloverfield Lane and realized this is supposed to be an anthology series, they're not going to have nothing to do with each other. People fucking hated it, and that's actually why the monster is in the Cloverfield Paradox on Netflix.
Yeah,
it's you see it at the very end of the movie.
And
they specifically added that because people hated that these movies weren't connected, basically.
And they're he's here, I'll throw you a fucking bone.
Yeah, Yeah.
But for my favorite anthology, what I chose was Tales from the Hood.
Tales from the
Yeah,
Hood.
Tales from the Hood, made in 1995. It was directed by Rusty Cundiff. Cundiff? I hope I'm
Oh.
saying that right. It was written and directed by him, and it was also written by a guy named Darren Scott. Um, and it's like it's whimsical. I mean, a lot of those anthology series
Yeah.
were whimsy esque, but like this one actually had
Favorite
like
anthology series? The Leprechaun.
the Leprechaun. The Leprechaun's my favorite.
I'm kidding. I've seen one of the Leprechaun movies
Yeah,
before.
the one with Jennifer Aniston is the only good one. All the rest of them are fucking weird.
I
But
hope-
actually, you got Leprechaun, the Leprechaun Goes to the Hood. Return to the Hood. That one's actually really funny because he's sitting there fucking.
I've seen the one where he kills the guy with the afro. He kills him with his own pick. That's the one Leprechaun movie I've
and that
seen.
one dude gets away.
One.
That one dude gets away because like he's smoking weed,
Yeah.
and he's like, oh, I see you got that green stuff there, and then he's sitting there smoking a blunt with the Leprechaun. So funny, but
Anyway, I'm sorry. I know you have a lot to talk about.
No, you get Tales from the Hood. It breaks down 4 stories, just Tales from the Hood, and I think the one that really sticks with me the most is the one about this doll, and it's a doll. It's like it's like a plantation house or whatever, and these people buy the plantation house, and there's a story about the lady who, and it's been a long time since I've seen this movie. I didn't rewatch it for the video, but so I'm basing it all off of old memories. But it's like this lady had. It's almost like that movie Don't Breathe, Silence or whatever, about like the lady who had all the mannequin dolls that like are like all haunted or whatever.
Yeah.
But I believe the inspiration for that specific tale was Robert the Doll. Robert the Doll, the haunted cursed doll or whatever.
Right.
It's very much like it has the same vibe as a lot of anthology series that were coming on back then. I guess really Creepshow was the main one, the most popular one. So it's a very similar in essence. I mean, it doesn't stray away from the format that much, but it's very whimsical, fun, but it also is scary. Like that's it's scary, it's a scary movie, but it has tangible roots behind a lot of the stuff it talks about, and it's just fun, and that is my definite recommendation if you're looking for an anthology series besides VHS, for the love of God.
That's like the one that everyone recommends.
Yeah, everyone's like, "Oh my God, have you seen VHS?" And I'm like, "Yes, I've watched them all. For the love of God, let it die." Like, have you seen VHS 99? I'm like, yeah, I did. Yeah, I actually just watched the most recent one.
I've seen like the first 3 of them.
Yeah, the first 3. That's really all you need. The rest of them are just like they're just people pissing in a pot and hoping something cool comes out. Pissing yellow and hoping it's green,
Yeah.
But that's a weird analogy, right? The movie itself doesn't really stray away from anthology norms, but it does give like a lot of the videos tales have a nice twist to them, just a little sprinkle on top, and you get like I enjoy how it's told from the view of Mr. Sims.
Hey Chuck.
Mr. Sims. Mr. Sims is like he runs the funeral home. He's like like the base guy who's giving you these tales. You know?
Yeah.
And he also, the guy who plays him, I should have wrote that down in here, but the guy who plays him is the same guy who plays the big drug kingpin in Half Baked.
Oh, okay.
You ever seen Half Baked, where he's like that weird Mr. Whatever the fuck, and he's like almost the same character. It's weird. It's really weird. Like same hair and everything. It's so crazy. It's an abracadabra.
It's like Matt Berry just plays the same.
Yeah, just plays the same kind of character over and over again. But I guess that would be my pick for my favorite anthology. But mainly what I wanted to talk about was how Japanese horror movies, like old Japanese horror movies, how they influenced, in the long run, Western media and the way that we started doing our horror movies now.
Right, yeah.
Like, I mean, of course, in the early 2000s, they were doing remakes of stuff like Dark Water, The Ring, the Grudge, and the Japanese counterparts to those are Ringu, The Water, and Ju-On,
Yeah.
The cartoon. They have like 10 Ju-on movies.
Yeah, I was about to say I've seen several of the Ju-on movies. Yeah,
they even have like Ju-on versus Ringu.
The Ju-on movies get weird too.
Yeah,
like there's certain things that just happen in the movies that like don't make any sense. Yeah. Like there's one scene where like the woman in the house, she like goes outside her house. And this is in the first or second Ju-on movie. But like she walks out of her house and the little boy, the little ghost boy that like you see in the fucking Grudge, he's just out in the street like this. Like and she like yeah, like not looking at her or like towards her house, like with his back, like I don't know. Like if you're looking, yeah, I think that's the one. If I'm the boy and you're looking at me, like I'm just like this, and like your house is like right there behind me, and he's just like out in the street for some reason,
just
and like
thugging it,
and he's like
buck ass naked,
yeah, and she's like, "Are you okay?" Like, and like he doesn't answer, and that's like the whole scene pretty much is like him just out there. And I don't know, it's a weird fucking movie, honestly.
First off, I mean, like I know you want to be a good Samaritan and help this kid. He's in the street.
He's pale white.
Pale white. Yeah. But he's pale white. A mouthful of black shit. Buck ass naked. Yeah. Okay. If he's not dead, just let nature take its course. Like let him fucking. Yeah.
He's clearly high on bath salts.
Yeah, he's clearly high, and he's gonna eat your face.
That's funny.
A lot of these, I would like to also point out, a lot of these names for these movies I'm going to talk about, I'm going to completely butcher because I'm not Japanese. I'm just an ignorant ass Southern dude.
I wish me and Bella thought about watching Uzumaki recently. It's a new anime on HBO. Yep. Have you seen it? Apparently,
I put it in my list, but I have not watched it.
I've looked at a little bit into it. Apparently, Uzumaki is one of the biggest horror mangas in Japan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's been like one of the biggest horror mangas in Japan for a while now, and people are so fucking hyped that it just got an anime. So that's really kind of what.
Yeah, I'll watch that tonight.
Yeah, I've been thinking about watching that.
I'll watch that tonight. I watched, Junji Ito's the story about the Spiral. They have that on HBO Max right now, and they're like breaking it all down episodical. Oh, really? And so the first episode was about like the girl who had the scar that turns into like the giant spiral in her face. Right. And the last episode that came out, there might be another one up now.
That's Uzumaki.
But that is Uzumaki?
Yeah, that's Uzumaki. The one with the girl with the spot. Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the black and white anime.
Well, then we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah, we're talking about the same thing.
Well, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, super hyped for that. I saw that. I was like, wow. Yeah, there's only 2 episodes up now, right?
Yeah, there's only 2 episodes out right now, I think.
But and it has me.
But super kick-ass. Yeah, that's one of the biggest.
It has me hankering for more.
Apparently, the mangaka, which if y'all don't know, that's the name of a manga artist. The mangaka is like one of the biggest horror manga writers in Japan, and like Uzumaki's like huge over there because like I don't know, he does body horror really well.
Apparently. Yeah, body horror and oof. I mean, it really is just the way, especially with the episode about like the snakes twirling together, and then got that. Like, I don't want to spoil anything for anybody because it's still like coming out, but
no, I'm excited.
I mean, I was watching it. I was like, oh my god!
I'm wanting to watch that. Me and Bill haven't actually started watching it, but I'm excited. I've looked into it a little bit, and it seems pretty hype.
Yeah, I think it'd be really fun.
I wish I had watched it before we shot this because I could talk about it.
Yeah, we could talk about it more.
But yeah.
Hey, it's fine though.
It's fine.
I tell you what,
y'all go check out Uzumaki on HBO.
Yeah, you go check out HBO Max, and then like hopefully Max will give us a portion of all of their shit.
Yeah.
So, hey, HBO.
We're like, wow, we got 0.03 more subscribers because of you guys. Let's throw. We're gonna throw a little cash your way.
One guy who watched this video was like, you know what? They're right. I'm canceling my Paramount. I'm getting Max. And I'm gonna put
Paramount over Max. That's crazy.
Yeah. Honestly, though.
Yeah.
You could watch South Park on Max. Why else would you get Paramount other than to watch all the South Park stuff? But I digress. So, what I think is crazy, what I think is cool, I should say, about all of these Japanese horror movies.
Yeah.
And they're all like from like the 50s, 60s, 70s. And it's, in my opinion, I think it's all brought out from after World War II and Hiroshima and everything, that inspired Godzilla and all that jazz. So like it really was a boom for filmmaking out there, and it's and a lot of these movies, so many of the character points and just visually the practical effects that they use, awesome. Um, and if you break it down and you look back, all of that really has affected how we in the Western world have made movies, especially since in the early 2000s they had to go back over. Was that
movie The Last Ronin or something inspired Star Wars?
Yeah,
all that shit.
That shit like that is just awesome.
All those old black and white Japanese samurai movies that were inspired by westerns, and now like
and our influences other art, and that's that's just how it's always been. Not saying there's no such thing as originality, but they're just like it all inspires each other and just inspires itself, and I think that is very fascinating when it comes to writing, directing, visual arts in any way. Like it's just it all trickles down from the same things, the same stories, and almost like throughout our history, just as a human race, like we've told stories through word of mouth and written them out, and it just like inspires other things. Like religion inspires religion, culture inspires culture, and it's just I think that's immaculate. But Onibaba. Onibaba. I hope I said that right. Onibaba, made in 1964. It's directed by Kaneto Shindo. I'm sorry if I butchered that. Don't hate me.
I hope you said that right too.
I hope I said that right. The word Onibaba means demon hag, and if you, I guess it's like a yokai, a yokai spirit or whatever.
Onibaba. That's from an anime. I can't remember, but like they do. That's like a thing. Oh, I think that's an Avatar. I think there's like a thing like a spirit like
the Onibaba, and it's what's his nuts who comes in and saves Zuko, who comes in and saves him.
Yeah, that's right. Huh.
Yeah, and it's a similar mask too, like with the tusk. He can do that. He's Asian.
He can do that. He's Asian. Don't cancel me.
Don't cancel me. I know I'm blonde hair, blue eyed, but I swear to God, I'm Asian. And with this, that movie is about it's like these samurai gang-esque thing. They're coming and they're trying to take over this family's land, and it's this mom and her daughter, and I believe their father was a part of this clan or whatever, and he died, whatever. I don't really, I've seen it a couple of times, but I've never been able to actually get my grip on the whole story because it's all in Japanese, and I don't read too good. I don't be reading too good, so I don't read subtitles. But it's very much like it's almost like a scarecrow kind of deal. Like I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say, but the girl ends up putting on this mask to scare away people from the land, scare away these samurai from the land, and she gets more diabolical with it. It's almost like the mask, the episode The Mask for Goosebumps, where the little girl puts on the mask, and she can't take it off, and she starts to embody this yokai, and it's almost like the spirit itself. It's like a psychological horror, but it implies that she is, as her mental state deteriorates, she becomes more one with the spirit itself, and I believe she ends up killing her mother or something like that. I believe she ends up being the only person there. I don't think that there's a happy ending to most of these movies. There is no happy ending. They're very much like the bleakness of that of the horror is very like, that's what makes it more tangible in my opinion. But you'll find that it's a common theme with a lot of these. It's very like nobody really gets a happy ending. Everything just sucks. It's all melancholy, which is kind of how it works in life sometimes. Kind of how life is. What can you do?
What can you do? I'm so ready for another Bonesaw Vic episode.
Me too. What can you do about it?
What can you do?
We can write our own.
Bonesaw Vic fan fiction.
Yeah, where Bonesaw Vic fucks the Sasquatch.
The Sasquatch fucks Bonesaw Vic.
Yeah, that's actually better. Yeah. And for any
no, Harry, no!
Don't fucking in my ass, Harry. Harry, no! And it's like it is the Sasquatch with Harry Potter glasses. Harry, no! Master Potter has given Dobby his cock.
That's so funny.
But For anybody
Sorry,
who's
we're
been
back.
in the we're back. For anybody who's been in the creepypasta sphere on YouTube for a while, I'm sure you know Lazy Masquerade. Lazy Masquerade, his logo is of the the fuck Onibaba,
Onibaba.
the face, and even in some of his openings of his videos, it's like the rain and the girl in the cornfield with the mask on. That whole bit is from this movie, and
really?
all the years of me seeing that, I was like, "What is this? What is this?" Turns out it's from this, and I think that's a pretty cool connection, especially from his the kind of stories that he liked to tell. I don't know if he still makes stuff. I don't see anything from him very often. I think he might have got canceled. I don't know. Shout out to you, Lazy.
I think he might have got canceled. That's funny. That's gonna be us one day.
That's gonna be
us.
Oh
my
one
god!
day.
There's a lizard in the light.
Holy shit!
It stopped moving because it hears that we noticed it.
And cut. Sorry for that very mild interruption.
Yeah. What are we talking about now?
We're talking about how art influences art, and then I had the Onibaba. So I'm gonna move over to next movie.
Yeah, let's move on.
Called House. It was directed and made in 19.
I've watched House.
You've watched House before, but the six girls.
Oh no, the doctor with the limp.
Yeah. It's same. But instead of like the one guy who's addicted to pain medication, it's six girls.
That's basically the
same thing. House made in 1997, directed by Nobueko Obayashi.
Nobueko my heart.
Nobueko my heart. So this honestly probably has to be my favorite Japanese horror film that I've.
House?
Yeah, it's called House.
What is it on?
It's on Shudder, and I believe you can find it on Max.
Maybe I'll go check it out.
But it's about six schoolgirls who go.
This is why it's your favorite.
Yeah, they go to the deep mysterious countryside in Japan to visit one of the girls' aunts.
Okay.
And as they go along with the trip, they realize things are not exactly what they what they seem. You know. Yeah. The visit.
Is it like The Visit?
But. Well, no, but it's similar in that aspect of like I believe that they go
somewhere they're not accustomed to.
Yeah, not accustomed
things aren't as they seem.
Yeah, things aren't as they seem, and it's very much like the same tone as stuff like that, like The Visit and House on Haunted Hill, stuff like that. In a way, but visually, it's a great movie. Like just the way
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, just the way they do the practical effects. Practical effects in all these movies I'm going to talk about are just immaculate. It's like so cool. But this one specifically, it's like a psychedelic horror comedy.
A psychedelic horror.
Yeah, psychedelic horror comedy, which
that's
is
its own genre.
Yeah, like that's like a whole thing, and it's honestly kind of funny, you know, especially the scene with there's a scene where one of the girls is missing and she's killed, I guess, and they find her head in the well. They pull up a bucket of water and like her floating disembodied head is like, "Oh, how are you doing?" I shouldn't have done a voice on that one, but "Hey, how are you?" And then she's like flipping around and going like, "Ha ha ha," going crazy.
That scene at least.
And there's like a part where one of the girls turns around and hunkers down, and the fucking floating head bites her on the ass, and she's like, and she's like kind of running around with a floating head stuck to her ass, and the head is like, "Ha ha ha, bitch." I don't know. It's honestly really funny, but you could see a lot of the influence of movies now in it as well. I mean, just offhand, the head itself of the young kid, and at one point I believe she does like a similar thing to the kid in The Grudge, how she does like that cat noise and shit.
Okay.
It's super funny, and as they get picked off one by one, it's really like the aunt is taking their life essence and shit like that. Like it's all like, you know, just a mysterious psychological horror comedy, and it is genuinely funny. Like it's in Japanese. It's in Japanese. It was made in 1977. Like it's in Japanese, full-blown Japanese. They didn't have fucking American voiceovers or nothing like that.
Yeah.
But it is, for what it is so fucking funny, and it is genuinely a really cool piece of film.
That's cool.
Just how they executed it all is is really awesome, and
Right.
the story is I don't want to keep using the word like tangible, but you can see so much influence in other stuff in
Yeah.
it, like The Grudge and all that jazz, and it's just that out of if there's anything you've watched today that is if there's anything you've heard of today that you want to check out, I 100% recommend this one. I mean, it's a
Go
fun
check out
watch.
House.
It's a fun watch. It's not like it doesn't push any specific narrative. It's not like anything like that, but it's just so fun. It's
That's
just a
cool.
fun watch.
Yeah.
10 out of 10, a horror movie. God damn it, Halloween 2024.
Halloween 2024. Go check out House.
Recommend it, dude.
Yeah.
And I also
50-year-old movie. Go check it out.
yeah, go check it out. I mean, all of these are fucking great.
Yeah.
I of course special mentions go to Ringu and
it's just funny to me how you're like 2024 Halloween recommendations. I recommend a 50-year-old.
yeah.
It's just funny.
Don't waste your time with new age film. Go ahead and watch black and white. Actually, I don't think it's black and white, but go watch yourself an old school J horror movie. I mean, it's just fucking.
There's a lot of good ones on HBO.
Peak. Even the ones that are super scary. There's one that I could not find the name of to save my life, but it's about a guy who leaves his wife in the countryside of Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Leaves his wife in the countryside of Japan, and he goes off to do his thing and be like a samurai and like do all that shit. And he realizes over the time that like he's like, oh, actually I had everything I needed, like a wife who took care of me and my home and all this kind of stuff. So he goes back to see his wife, and he goes back to this big beautiful house, and he thinks everything is great, and it's like this woman is there, and she loves him, and it's like it's all this and that. There's everything he ever wanted, and he's like finally back at home with his wife, and it turns out that she had killed herself from grief, unalived herself with grief, and then she like once he comes to reality after like him and his wife like sleep with each other again, and it's all magical, and he's like, I'm so sorry I left you.
I'm so sorry.
And he wakes up, and it's like the house is dilapidated. I mean, destroyed, eroded. It's like her mental state from him leaving, her deteriorating mental state, which led to her ultimately ending her own life, affected the house and everything. And like in The Grudge, the visualization of the hair, the long black hair coming down, and like the crawling and kind of the croak and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It is. And now I'm not a fucking film critic, and I'm not a scientist about this shit, but I think it's 100% that movie was the inspiration for a lot of the Ju-on stuff. And I mean, Ju-on in and of itself is its own kind of legend, but like visually, it's just like there, and that one is genuinely terrifying to watch.
There's
it's
this
so fun.
there's this great movie that I watched. I was younger, probably like 10 or 11 when I had watched this. And it's not a Japanese movie, but it takes a lot of inspiration from Japanese horror, and I wish I could remember the name. When I describe this movie, if y'all know what I'm talking about, please leave it in the comments below so I can find this thing. But this guy is with this girl, and there's like steadily they're both photographers or whatever, and like weird shit keeps steadily happening over and over. And long story short, she ends up flying out to Japan because like something happened with his ex who was Japanese, and she ends up flying.
Shutter.
Shutter?
You're talking about Shutter.
That's
the thing about the camera, the picture
yeah.
scene.
And like there's
that is actually a remake of a Japanese movie.
Yeah.
And it's like the Japanese one, obviously the Japanese one is always going to be better. But that movie like hits so many of the same beats. Like it's
a good movie.
That is a good westernization of the movie. Like, I really should have put that on this list.
There's this really funny scene in the movie where like he goes to the doctor, and it's like his 6-month checkup or his annual checkup or whatever.
Oh yeah, he's like 400 pounds.
He's like, yeah, he gained 150 pounds since his last checkup or some shit like that. And he's like, what?
Yeah, that's fucking impossible. He's like, hey man, you gotta watch what you eat. The doctor's like, hey man,
I'm not gonna spoil the movie.
I'm not a doctor, but you gotta watch what you eat.
I'm not a doctor. He's literally a doctor.
So great.
Anyway.
But yeah, I won't ruin it for you either. But that movie, I watched that as a child too. That one's really good.
That movie fucks.
That movie fucks. And just like, and I like how in the American version, they talk about how the lady goes into that office in Japan, and there's all these guys making fake ghost videos and ghost pictures and stuff for this magazine. So she's like, "Oh, all of this is fake. All these photos I'm taking, they're fake. Like, you can just make this shit up." And they're like, "Yeah, this isn't real." And she's like, "Well, I guess I'm fucking crazy because I got a bunch of these. What are they? I got a bunch of Polaroids of this crazy bitch who's haunting me." Anyway, super good movie. 10 out of 10 recommend.
Yeah, go check out.
10 out of 10 recommend. Both of them.
You got more stuff?
I do have more stuff.
Hell yeah.
So special mentions to Kaidan Anthology 1964. Kaidan means ghost story or bewitched. And it takes it's like 4 tales of samurai and all that stuff. I honestly couldn't give you an in-depth analysis on that one because I don't know much about it. So I'm just gonna leave that there for you to check out, and I suggest you check it out. The last Japanese horror movie I want to talk about is Yokai Monsters, 100 Monsters, and it's about this village. Yeah. And once again, the practical effects are amazing. They have everything. It's very whimsical. It's very funny. Like, I love how a lot of these old Japanese movies, they are so fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like, it's a treat just to see how they made this stuff, because it's that one. This one, what do I have? Is it 1968, dude? 1968, and they have the Umbrella Ghost. You go watch the trailer. I mean, fuck, we can probably put something in somewhere here, just in the little bit. I don't know if it would be copyright or not, but I don't know. But just the thing but he throws the umbrella and it goes up to the moon and spins around and comes back down, and then it's got a face and shit, and you're like, what? I don't know, super fun. And that one's about a village of people who something or other happens, and they're like, basically, like, yokais don't exist, and somehow a curse gets unlocked to where 100 yokai come out and start fucking with the village, and it really goes over a lot of them. And if you're into old Japanese mythology and stuff like that, it's very much your thing. It's a fun movie.
Go check it out.
Yeah. It was directed by Kimiyoshi Yasada, and special effects by Yoshiyuki Kuroda. Yoshiyuki and Kimiyoshi are very similar names. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. Yoshimaru. I don't know. Yoshimaru. But I'd like to point out the way that these movies are, and I know, like how I said earlier, how our influences are, and it really is like the way these movies were made. It's just so it's just amazing. It's amazing how you can use your very limited ability technology wise, which that was a mouthful, and they were able to go above and beyond, way better than you could make one of those movies now, I believe. Like, because what are they going to do? CGI everything? Maybe a little bit of practical effects, and CGI overlaying it. Nobody wants that. Yeah. Like, it's gonna be a biff if you do it now. Yeah. So it's perfect where it is. I hope they never make a remake of it. But I definitely, a lot of these movies have influenced just how we do movies now. I mean, like Blumhouse and shit like that. Do you how much original shit do you see? Effects, how much original shit do you really see out of horror movies nowadays? Yeah. Like, the only thing I can really get to like more of a original stance to filmmaking nowadays when it comes to the horror genre would have to be the A24 studios, which everybody here I'm sure knows of the A24 studios. Yeah. There's a great segue.
If you made it this far into the video, I'm sure you know what A24
what it is. Yeah. And this is a great segue for me to talk about my last 2 movies I want to talk about, and I'm going to hand it over to you, Kyle. I'm so sorry it's taken me forever to get this shit out. You're good. New watches and recommendations from the A24 studios. I saw the TV Glow, and we're all going to the World's Fair, right? Both A24 studio movies directed by Jane Schonenberg. Jane Schonenberg, I apologize. Is a trans director. She's honestly great. she's from a lot of the movies that I have pulled up right here that she's also directed. It's, I mean, some bangers,
Word.
bangers. Um, I saw the TV Glow is a movie about, and visually amazing. I mean, I wish I had more time to talk about this fucking movie. Visually so amazing. It has like similar pink hues and kind of the ambiance of how Mandy is in a way, not compared, like same but different. Um, Visually, some of the monsters in it, just everything about it, and the story. It really is a story of gender identity, and these two kids who are lost in themselves, not understanding who they are and their place in this world, especially with that whole aspect of gender identity and stuff like that, is very. You can imagine how difficult it could be to live in your own reality when you got that going inside of you and having to find that acceptance in yourself and the world accepting you and all that stuff. But they find this TV show called The Peg, and it's psychologically, as a psychological horror. I'm having a fucking stroke. But essentially, these two kids realize that the show that they're watching is them. That's the real world, and where they're at is fiction. The real world is the made up world. So it's it's like saying that this TV show is more real to them. It makes them feel more of themselves than this real world could ever do. And I mean, the long pauses that they have, the long shots that they have in this movie, they're so just like you can like taste the feeling. You're there, like you're actually there feeling these things with these people. And it goes over this the main character, Owen, played by Justice Smith, the guy he was in like Jurassic Park and a couple other things.
Okay.
It's him and his friend Maddie. It's through the eyes of Owen. So it goes through like his childhood, him finding the movie, and then it goes a couple years later after finding it, and then it even goes to where he's an old man and he still hasn't been able to get out of the real world and back to the Peg where the real world is. And there's a scene where he's working at this arcade and they're doing like happy birthday stuff. So it's all like happy birthday, da da da. And he has a breakdown and just starts screaming, guttural screaming. And he's like, "This isn't real. I'm literally suffocating right now." And it's just so emotionally driven, and I don't know, just takes my breath away. Recommend that 100%. I put it on for background noise the other night, and it was so fucking great that I watched it again and again.
Oh wow!
And I completely threw out everything that I was really going to talk about in this video just so I can talk about these two. And we're going to the World's Fair, also directed by this lady. That one kind of highlights more the association between people online and people who consume the stuff online, and how I can't remember what it's called when you build up those fake relationships between the two of them, and kind of like that person that you see online because of what they put online, but really it's all fake, And it's that one's based off of a creepypasta where it's like the Blue Elephant or whatever.
Let's kick ass.
Where you watch the video. Yeah, we love creepypastas here on the Riff Ranch podcast. But just the way that these two movies were made visually and just like the breath in them, I think it shows a nice taste of a new flair of originality between and even with our new sociological problems that we have nowadays and everything, it just really highlights those very well. And I love them so much, and those are my movies for this. Thank you. I hope you liked it. So sorry, Kyle. You take it away, brother.
So I really just have a bunch of stuff written here about the Stephen King movies and some stuff about the books. If you guys didn't know, the whole Stephen King universe, like all of these movies are tied together in some way, shape, or form. And it's kind of just a big anthology series, really.
Yeah. It's a whole like mythology, honestly. Like Stephen King wrote the whole thing connected to each other. The thing with the turtle, love that.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite parts of the whole thing, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So I have it starts here written. The most obvious and most blatant connection of this whole series is Doctor Sleep is a direct sequel to The Shining.
Obi-Wan, just watched that again last night.
Doctor Sleep?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi's doing cocaine with a crack whore.
I have never seen Doctor Sleep before the other day. I watched it for the first time.
Really? It was good, huh?
Yeah. Me and Bella watched The Shining because we knew Doctor Sleep was a sequel, and then we watched Doctor Sleep right after. I'm not the biggest fan of The Shining, but if you guys like The Shining, I think you're going to like Doctor Sleep.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of The Shining either, but But Doctor Sleep, I think, came out at a weird time. Ooh, came out at a weird time. But I mean, it really is good, and it hits a lot of beats. Very nostalgic, also.
And it's funny it's the same thing with like the Men Who Stare at Goats. They got Obi-Wan to play him again because like he's playing this fucking character that uses the fucking Force. Basically.
Uses the Force, uses the Stephen King Force. Like, who do we get to do this? Somebody call Hugh McGregor. Yeah. We need someone who can really yield the Force.
He can. Ever since this man played Obi-Wan, he can only get roles where he's playing this universe's version of the Force.
Yeah. He's got to be somebody's galaxy daddy in every fucking.
Yeah, that's so funny to me.
Yeah, dude,
so,
it's great.
We learned that the Shining, can even be a place, and it can develop abilities over time, which is why the hotel in The Shining seems haunted. It's not actually haunted.
Concentrated. Yeah, it's almost like a conduit.
Yeah, it's like a conduit for The Shining, basically. Which the first time I watched The Shining, I thought it was haunted, but I didn't realize that all these things were connected, and that places can also develop The Shining.
Which explains why so much happens in
Derry,
Maine.
Yeah. And so I have a couple stuff written down here about little tidbits. Firestarters is a newer series that's about
Firestarters.
It's a newer series that came out where this girl is able to start fires with her mind, and the government basically try to capture her for her abilities. Firestarters was a book written by Stephen King, and what it's supposed to be saying is she has the Shining, and her ability to start these fires with her mind is her using the Shining, basically.
Yeah.
Another character who uses the Shining is Carrie from the movie Carrie, which is crazy because I watched this when I was younger, and I always thought that it was like some kind of witch or like a demon or like I always thought she was possessed by a demon or she was some kind of witch or something was the impression I got. But in reality, she's using the Shining, which is crazy.
Yeah. And because of the way her mother treated her and everything, that's why
how the Shining developed.
It just developed.
Which I think is such a cool concept. Is like Stephen King doesn't just write the Shining as like a protagonist tool. It's also like the antagonist of things,
100%.
There's also a Stephen King I can't fucking talk. There's also a Stephen King series called The Institute, and it's all about an organization experimenting on people who have the Shining.
That's crazy. I've never heard about that one. That seems really interesting.
Yeah, it seems really interesting. I've never watched it, but I was writing.
Oh, it's a show?
It's a show, yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Check that out. I'm going to check it out.
From the sound of it, the show doesn't actually adapt any book. It seems like this is actually a series that was kind of originally like they worked with Stephen King to make this as a part of like his whole universe and shit, which I think is pretty cool that like they're also just doing series. It doesn't just seem like it's adapted. If it is adapted from a book, I couldn't fucking find the book that it's adapted from. The power, I also have it written here, the powers that the Losers Club uses in it is the Shining, the power that they eventually use to defeat Pennywise in the end. Fuck.
And I've never read the books, and the movie I guess doesn't necessarily highlight.
There's a weird scene in the books. If y'all didn't know this, I'm about to fucking spoil something crazy.
Yeah, I better ruin your fucking childhood.
I'm about to ruin a lot about it for you. But they have a fucking gangbang with the girl when they're children.
Oh my god, like a Losers Club orgy. Yeah, at the end of it, to get rid of their childhood.
Yeah,
it's like after
they need to get that's the whole thing. A part of like this ritual to get rid of Pennywise, they need to get rid of their
innocence of childhood.
Innocence, the innocence of childhood in order to get rid of Pennywise. And so they have a fucking gangbang in the sewers, basically.
Yeah, which is like, I did not like all the breakdowns that I've seen, because it came out several years ago. So now, we've all probably watched several breakdowns about it, and I did not need to know that about that story.
Yeah, I could have gone the rest of my life.
I could have gone the rest of my life thinking Tim Curry was the villain, and fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like Tim Curry, I would have rather Tim Curry fuck the kids than the kids fuck each other. Honestly,
that's fucked up. So another little connection is in Tommyknockers. In Tommyknockers, in the book at least, the main character's like going through the sewers and shit. The Tommyknockers takes place in Derry, and it's kind of like about alien invasion type shit going on. Yeah, but the main character's like going through the sewers and looks like, I don't know if they hear something exactly. It's been a while since I've like looked into this part, but they look back in the sewers and see yellow eyes looking back at them, which is supposed to imply that they saw it down in the sewers.
Yeah. It was looking at him. Tommyknockers. Speaking of that, I'm actually
looking it up.
Knockers. Took me a second to write that. The Tommyknockers. I thought this was a different movie. When you brought up the Tommyknockers, I was imagining the movie where all the boys are on the train tracks. They're going down the train tracks. Remember that?
Yeah, and they find a dead body.
They find the dead body.
Yeah.
That's a Stephen King
Oh, really?
story as well, right? I might be wrong,
I
but
think so.
I always thought it was.
I could be wrong.
And when you were saying Tommyknockers the other day when we were talking about this,
yeah,
that's what I was imagining.
That would be crazy if that had like the scene with the yellow eyes looking back at them, because that story with where they find the dead body on the rail tracks and everything, that is not a supernatural story at all. So like that would be crazy if that was where they saw the fucking anyway, whatever. Another connection I got here is the Dark Tower series. Now this is Stephen King's. I'm not gonna say this is his favorite thing, but this is one of the only series of books that he's ever made. Like he usually doesn't make sequels.
Yeah, where it's like direct sequels to each.
Yeah, itself. And there's like 6 or 7 Dark Tower books, and like he's made several of these. And basically, the Dark Tower is kind of like where everything stems from in the Stephen King universe. Like this is where all the magical bullshit is going on. This is like the universe. This is like the universe where Pennywise really comes from. If you guys have seen
it's like a universe between universes or whatever.
Oh no, the Dark Tower is another universe, but I'll get to the fucking universe between universes. If you guys have never seen the Dark Tower, Idris Elba plays one of the main characters in there.
Yeah.
And Matthew McConaughey plays the man in black, the main
villain. And the man who wishes he was black.
It's kind of implied that the man in black is like the main antagonist of the whole Stephen King universe. Yeah. I'll get to that in a second. But if you've seen the Dark Tower movie, in the movie, the kid's like walking through the other universe where the Dark Tower is, and he ends up coming up across this amusement park, and in big letters it says Pennywise across it, kind of implying this is where Pennywise comes from. But in the actual books of the Dark Tower, I believe it's like at one point, the kid is like walking through the desert in the other universe, and he sees this obelisk, and he sees a clown sitting on top of the obelisk laughing. And it's supposed to be implied that that's Pennywise that he's seeing.
And that's fucking petrifying. And to think, like, if you go back on that sense, like, so it is in Maine, in Derry, Maine, whatever. But he's also like he is still an omnipotent-esque being, like a creature that is able to be in multiple universes at one time.
Yeah.
That is,
and I think it's even possible that like when they get rid of him from this universe, it's like he's not really gone. He's still just like in the other universe.
He's like put somewhere else. He's like, all right, I guess I gotta wait 27 years to go fucking eat kids again.
Yeah. Ooh, excuse me. But in the dark, what is it? The Dark Tower movie came out a few years ago. The kid finds. Oh, I already said all that. In the book, okay, so in the book The Mist and in the TV series of The Mist. Because the I don't know, a lot of y'all have probably seen the movie The Mist, right? Like I'm assuming you've seen the. So the movie The Mist isn't a direct adaptation of the book, but the TV series of The Mist is like a direct adaptation of the book.
What is the TV series on?
It came out on Spike. I don't know if it's on anything streaming, but I remember like back in the day, I was like in high school when the TV series came out.
Spike TV.
Yeah. And basically the book and the TV series of The Mist is about this company, and they're trying to make a portal to the universe where the Dark Tower is, where Matthew McConaughey is, because they're trying to get to Matthew McConaughey.
They really need Matthew McConaughey. We got this new Lincoln Navigator.
And
need someone to advertise.
They basically fuck up and don't make a portal to the other universe, and instead create a doorway where creatures that live between the two universes can get in. And that's what the creatures are from The Mist, is they're like fucking eldritch creatures that live between universes, basically, that have come in. And they're fucking
kick ass.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome, isn't it?
Kick ass. Kick ass. Some people shy away from the term eldritch. But God damn it, dude. If I could slap that label on everything, if I could slap it on anything, it would be that shit for sure. That is so insane to me. The thought of being able to break through like between universes accidentally.
Yeah.
And like with Warhammer 40K, that's one of the coolest concepts to me. Is like when they're doing their space travel in between, is like you're going through like hell basically. That's insane to me, right?
Yeah, that's insane.
Anyway, sorry, continue.
I have it here. The Man in Black played by Matthew McConaughey.
Have you ever heard of him?
Have you ever heard of him? You know, I don't know if we've ever talked about Matthew McConaughey on this podcast.
Yeah. All right.
Well, you ever drive a Lincoln Navigator?
You ever drive a Lincoln Navigator butt naked with a bottle of Jack Daniels in your ass?
I believe we are wait, what is it? Fuck, I fucked up the line. I believe we are a cosmic mistake. That's what he tells Woody Harrelson.
We're all cosmic mistakes. We're all just loads free floating. We're all just God's loads free floating in a bag of piss water.
Anyway,
we're just a little pebble in a bag of piss water.
Matthew McConaughey, the Man in Black, is kind of built up to be like the main antagonist of Stephen King's whole universe. The Man in Black definitely has The Shining. In one of the books, it straight up I believe it's one of the Dark Tower books. It straight up says that the Man in Black has The Shining.
How it has that connectivity between
he has
able to find the kids and shit.
Yeah. But he uses the Shining in a different way from like anyone else in any of the Stephen King universes or books. He uses it to travel across time and to parallel dimensions. I can't fucking talk today.
Oh, that's cool.
Anyway, which is why he pops across many different stories. So, like, if you guys didn't know, the Man in Black, Matthew McConaughey, actually shows up in several different stories in the Stephen King universe, which is really kick-ass. He uses different aliases, so it's not really like confirmed. Like, there's some characters in different Stephen King books where like people think,
like implied.
Yeah, people think that that's the Man in Black in that book or something like that, but it's not really known because he uses different aliases.
Do you know? Excuse me, I'm sorry.
One of his identities that is confirmed by Stephen King is Randall Flack, who shows up in a couple different Stephen King books.
Randall Flack, that sounds familiar. That character.
Yeah, I can't remember. The video I was watching said one of the stories where Randall Flack, like...
Do you know any of the stories that he pops up in?
I believe he pops up in Tommyknockers. He pops up in the Dark Tower, obviously. I think he's in that Firestarter show. And so not Randall Flack, but the Man in Black, I believe, is supposed to be a character that we see in The Mist. It's like a theory, I guess, but it's believed he's one of the characters from The Mist.
Okay.
And there's a couple different other things. I'm trying to think of Stephen King's. It's believed that he is the Wendigo from Pet Sematary.
Oh, word!
Yeah,
that's kick-ass.
Yeah, isn't that kick-ass?
That is awesome.
There's also there's another Stephen King book called The Outsiders, and a creature that basically like people start going up. Like this creature only shows up once every 27 years, and people start showing up missing whenever he shows up. Very similar to Pennywise. Like the books, The Outsider has a very similar vibe to it. If you guys go read it, and it's believed that the Man in Black is also the outsider from that book, but it's also believed that he's a different character. I forget the name of that character off the top of my head, but it's believed he's a character in the town in the book The Outsiders.
So when they speak of the Man in Black, is he more or less a person embodied with The Shining, or is he more of a creature that embodies a physical human form like that who happens to...
So I thought it was one of those two things as well, but the more I looked into the Man in Black while I was doing all this, it almost sounds like he might just have been a fucking person that got The Shining and that now uses it to change what he looks like, hop between different dimensions, and he hops between different points in time. So you could actually be like at a later date, like say you met the Man in Black and then you meet him again later on down in like your life.
Yeah.
You could be meeting a younger version of the Man in Black because he jumps between time and parallel dimensions so much.
Yeah, he could really just be anybody.
Yeah, he could really just be anybody. And I think that's such a crazy concept. One of the things that I don't have written down here, but I said I was going to talk about earlier, is Cujo. I don't know if you know this. In the movie Cujo, the dog has rabies, right?
Yeah.
That's like the whole thing. In the book of Cujo, he doesn't have fucking rabies. That's not why he's attacking them. The dog is bitten by a bat who's contracted vampirism, and the dog is a vampire now. And the dog...
Oh, yeah!
Yeah, that's a thing in the books. Vampirism is a huge thing in the Stephen King books.
Yeah.
I believe it comes up in Pet Sematary again.
Yeah, Pet Sematary, of course, Salem's Lot, which they redid. They just redid Salem's Lot. It's on HBO.
And that's crazy that like when I found that out, I remember the first time I heard Cujo in the books actually has vampirism. He doesn't have rabies. I was like, that's fucking wild, dude.
That is
like,
actually really sick of a concept to have like and back then when they were doing all those renditions of his movies is probably what they were like. Well, but vampires are kind of gay this time of year.
I don't remember what the premise is in the movie. It's been a long time since I watched Cujo, but I believe in the book he can't come in the house because he wasn't invited. Like that's a whole fucking thing.
Oh yeah, but instead they did the car.
Yeah, but it's like or like doesn't the mom or kid, one of them gets stuck in the house and the other one's in the car at one point in the movie? Isn't that a thing? I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I watched.
No, because he destroys a bunch of the house.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because he like breaks through the window a couple of times and eats the mailman and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, but that's a crazy. And I could be wrong, but I think it is a fan theory that the bat that bit Cujo is the Man in Black. Yeah, he transformed into the fucking. And it's
excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to yawn. You're not boring me at all.
It's okay. I yawned for a lot of yours, and yours weren't boring. I was also just tired.
Yeah.
But no, it is a fan theory that basically all the bad shit that happens in the Stephen King universe
is because of the Man in Black.
Yeah.
As you were telling me about him being able to take the forms and how it kind of like leaned into Cujo or whatever, that was one of my first thoughts.
Another fan theory is that he is Pennywise. Like that is a fan theory. Yeah, that is a fan theory.
That would make sense. Yeah. In my mind, I would think it would be cooler if he was also one of the creatures spit out by the turtle.
Yeah.
Which honestly, the turtle.
I don't know. I thought
the turtle. That's a crazy part of the.
I thought he was like some kind of demonic creature, like the Wendigo or Pennywise, because both of those
Pennywise is like a giant like crab creature.
Yeah,
shit,
but I think it's such a cool idea that he's just a kid, like David or whatever his name is from The Shining. Yeah. Like he was a kid like that, and found out he had The Shining, and then developed this power to like jump between universes. Yeah, and crazy shit.
Just like went dark with it immediately.
Yeah. He's almost like the evil version of Obi-Wan from The Shining.
he's like, I only want to play this part because I might be able to fight Hugh McGregor in a lightsaber duel. I'm gonna pull up on my Lincoln Navigator with my bright yellow, and it has to be yellow. I don't know why.
Matthew McConaughey gets out of a Lincoln Navigator, pulls out a lightsaber, and fights fucking.
All right, Hugh.
All right, Hugh. Calls him Hugh.
You're gonna be all right.
That's so awesome. I love that. This was a really great episode. We actually just hit an hour. I was trying to make it shorter than this, but it's totally fine. I think that's been the Riff Ranch podcast, though. I think I've talked about.
In conclusion, I would like to say, if you enjoyed what you see, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notifications to hear us every week.
Let us know if you learned anything new about these movies.
And hit us with some recommendations. What have you been watching this year? What have you been really into seeing? Have you watched any new movies?
Recommendations. So definitely go watch Doctor Sleep. I just watched that. Go watch Cujo. That's a kick-ass one. What were some of the other ones I had written down here? I've never actually seen The Dark Tower. I heard it was kind of meh.
It was meh, but it was fun.
Carrie, if you've never seen Carrie, I love Carrie.
The OG Carrie.
The OG
Carrie is unsettling.
Unsettling as fuck. And it, of course, go watch it.
Go watch it. All of them.
Yeah. Go watch all
the
three.
TV movie with Tim Curry.
Yeah.
Jim Curry? I don't know, whatever.
Tim Curry,
yeah. And also the remakes from
they're all
years
good.
Ago.
They're all you can't go wrong with it.
Can't go wrong with them at all.
That's why they're making a sequel to it. Actually, Stephen King is in the process, he said, of writing a sequel to it.
He's like, damn, this shit made me some money.
Yeah, the two new movies did so well that he was like, I gotta write a sequel to that shit.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
and that would be crazy if it's not about the Losers Club and it's about like something.
Scene one: Matthew McConaughey drives in on a Lincoln Navigator.
I wish I had the notes in front of me, but there is another book. It might be Tommyknockers actually, but there's a book where it ends with like deadlights showing up all over the place. I want to say it's Tommyknockers just because I think Tommyknockers is supposed to be about like alien type shit, and so deadlights end up showing up, and that's like the aliens coming to abduct everything. But it's supposed to be going on, I believe, like around the time that it is, and so like they see these deadlights, kind of implying that like the Losers Club just killed it, and how like the deadlights come out of the sky.
I think you did say it was Tommyknockers.
Yeah, I think it is.
You told me about that the other day.
I think it's Tommyknockers. I don't want to be wrong about that, but I want to say it's Tommyknockers. But anyway, go check out some Stephen.
Yeah, go check out
my little recommends. Leave us some recommendations.
My little recommends. I'm gonna recommend House. It's a fun watch. I'm gonna recommend watching I've already said I saw the TV Glow. That might not be for everybody, but I really enjoyed it. Also, High Life, Robert Pattinson. It's about him. It's got
Love
Mia
Robert
Goth,
Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. And it's about him and his daughter are alone on a spaceship, free floating in the cosmos, and they're thousands of light years away from out. Right? How he got a baby girl on there, how he has a newborn daughter on there, is up for you guys to go see. But that one right there, very claustrophobic, and it's very like some A24 has such a good way of making these films. They allow the directors who make these indie art films or whatever.
Lord.
They allow them so much, and I recommend that. Please, for the love of God, don't watch VHS Beyond. It was so bad.
It was so bad.
It was so bad. Do not
recommend.
It made
me wish I could forget it.
It made me wish I was driving a Lincoln Navigator. And I think actually I am going to watch a bunch of Stephen King stuff because that was actually, it sounded really cool. I know they're so connected, but they're just really, really awesome.
It is pretty cool that they're so connected like that. But anyway, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
This has been the Riff Podcast.
We love you so much.
We love you. We need you. Bye, Mom.
Bye, Dad. And cut. You think should we get it?
I don't know.
I don't want it to die.
It catches on fire.
We could put a blooper reel in this bitch.
Blooper reel. Oh my god.
Oh, he's got his tail off. That means the cat got to him.
Oh, the cat got him.
This motherfucker's gonna bite the shit out of me. Okay. Go on, Buster. Oh, I'm scared for him to bite me.
Oh!
He didn't bite me. Where he at, though? Where he at?
Oh, I think he fell out. I don't think he's in there anymore. Bloopers! That's alright.
That's crazy. I thought this was the fucking lizard. I was about to freak out.
I'm going to cut this and just put it at the end of the episode so y'all can see the bloopers. Right before Steve Bloom. Or maybe after Steve Bloom.
Yo, that is... I honestly feel like the lizard's on me.
I'll let you know. I'm pretty sure it fell on the ground, though. It looked like it fell on the ground. It's not in there. I saw it fall out. I think it scurried off somewhere. Let's get back to the episode.
Yeah, that is crazy how fast the little fucker got away. That's insane.
I just heard something moving and looked up and I saw it there.
You know? Yeah, there was a Oh, there it is. Hey, buddy.
You see it?
Yeah.
Where?
He's on the top. He's up top.
I see him.
I see you. He sees me too, you fucker. Come on.
Ooh, he's super green.
Yeah. Watch whenever I catch him. Oh, damn.
When I catch him, I'm going to show him to the camera.
Oh, fuck it. Oh, he got away.
He got away.
Oh, no, he's on the wall.
Oh, he's jumping. He got ups.
Yeah, that joke is going to be really funny when you see him turn brown. Boom, 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 boom. You little fucker, come here.
This is a fun bit. This is a fun bit on the podcast. I'm glad we stopped to do this. Oh, shit.
See the little buddy?
You see the little buddy?
See his little buddy?
You see the little buddy? Hey, little buddy. You got a hair in your mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So see, he starts to turn brown. That's a defense mechanism.
For why?
For camouflage.
So it thinks it's dead? So
something like that. Dead? Is he? See, guys?
See?
Got his tail. I didn't do that through his tail. That's something he did. See how he's got his mouth open like that?
Yeah.
Watch this. I'm going to let him bite me.
You do that.
Oh, he might not. So these, when I was a little kid, fun fact, sorry. I was a little kid, we would catch these and put them on our ears because they'll grasp on and they won't let go for a while.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm going to let him go.
Weird flex.
I
can't wait to edit all that out and put it at the end. Bom, ba-dum, bom, bom. I should have I should have paused this whole audio while that was going on.
Ooh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Ooh, and cut.
Hey, Bailey. Hey, Kyle. It's me, Tank Dempsey in Steve Bloom cosplay. What's up, you beautiful bastards? Hoorah.